Welcome to Cascada Forge. The wind has taken my neighbor's pool, and it's snowing. There's Odin. Q103. Copyright. They do copyright me for that stuff too, even though it's arbitrary music playing in the background. Alright, today's video, the heat treating of the cleaver and how I do it in the mud. Alright, here we have the ditch dug for the sword blade, and here I have a bunch of ash. I saw the I'm just gonna fill it with water here. Give it a little ash. We're mixing it around. The muddier the water, the better. I saw like 1,000,000 different Asian cultures in so many videos literally quench their knife edge in mud. And it cools it down slower than water, even though water's involved. So that's what we're going to do with the cleaver. That's what we're going to do with the sword. Let's see how it works. Martin sight, success. Now that process I just used worked really good with the spring steel, even though it's a water quench. This is the spring steel hardened in that stuff. Look at the grain. I mean, it is brittle. Like this, just shattered like glass. So super shout outs to Dave Irving and Keith Moore. Now Keith, both of you guys, is the weirdest thing here. Like everyone out there, I know you're saying heat treat it in oil. I do have oil, look. I do have a whole quench bucket full of vegetable oil. And here, I use that for stuff. I'm just experimenting with the old techniques that the Japanese swordsmiths seem to use. They didn't have oil. They had like water, like a water pit, and it was full of mud and ash, and other, like each one of them had their own recipe too for the ash and mud and other things that they put in the clay that goes on the blade too. So there was like every swordsmith had their recipe, unique recipe for getting the their signature hamon, and they had their own recipe for their heat treating too. Now, all these lawnmower blades the guy gave me, they're all made of the same exact thing. They're like literally all the same. And I've tested them in oil, and they will not harden in oil. I could put it in cold oil, I can warm the oil up, like you said. Nothing. They will not harden. They don't do anything in oil. They're still... And only water works with them, which I don't understand. Because Dave was saying something about it, they're very similar to spring steel. or there's something else. And no matter what, I cannot get that stuff to harden in oil. It only hardens in water, but the spring steel will harden in both the water and the oil. But the water's more tricky for the spring steel. It's not as good. The oil's better for the spring steel, like you said. But of course, I'm doing this, trying to do this the old way, and I don't have a truss long enough. Anything I could pour that oil in, I would have to go out and buy something. And that would just completely defeat the purpose of MacGyvering everything that I don't have. Like, yes, I'll use modern tools. Yes, I'll use other things. But everything I don't have, I'm going to improvise it. That's the whole beauty of this channel, is I'm going to improvise everything I don't have. I'm not just going to go, oh, well, better save up in my piggy bank and go buy a new... No, none of that. I'm going to build it. The only way I'm going to buy it is if I absolutely have to. Super shout-outs, Dave Irving. I got the right recipe for the spring steel because I took my scrap spring steel and I did a bunch of experiments on it. So I found the right mud and ash and clay mixture and the right level of water so that the spine is still above, just above, enough where it can stay hot as that blade is cooling. And it hardens really hard, but then, like you said, it bleeds back in. And then I dunk it all once the spine is cool enough where it's not going to harden. I'll put the whole thing in it and bring it all the way down. And it works amazing. You've got like one half of the little tiny piece is you can hit it with a hammer and dent it, and the other half is just like shatters like glass. So all it would take is a little bit of tempering. And the sword fits in the oven now that I've cut off the excess handle. So it'll take a little bit of tempering just to get that to straw to have the perfect, soft spine, hard blade edge that I'm looking for on this. As for a hamon, I don't think it's going to show up either. That doesn't show up on the lawnmower blades, and it's not going to show up on the spring steel. Like it does on a higher carbon thing. I've seen it shown up on my other stuff. Can't remember what it was, but it doesn't show up on the spring steel. So what we might have to do is make a fake one. And all I have to do there is just paint the whole blade except for like the part that I want the hamon on, and dip it in the ferric lard for literally just like a few seconds. And when you pull it out, let the air get to it, it'll just darken just enough where it looks like a hamon line. Whoop-de-doo. We know it's there, the hard part, but we can't see it. So we'll just represent it with a fake line. And we'll let the cutting do the talking. Speaking of cutting, Keith Moore, he requested I chop a cinder block with this one, the one that I chopped all that stuff with. We're going to do that for you. Right now, I'm curious. Is cinder block worse than the aluminum? Probably. Here's that piece we, oh, fuck. That is hard, okay. I thought it was more brittle, but here it is. It sets right there. Let's hack it a few times. See what happens. Oh man. Yeah, we're getting some damage there. Trying not to cut myself. It's getting chewed up a bit. Let's get the tip in there. See how that tip survives. A little rounding. Well, nope, no rounding, sorry. Oh, spark again. Got a good even chop there. Alright, well, let's get it right over here. Yeah. Held up pretty good. So yeah, that's more than good enough. That would pass any test Forged in Fire could throw at it, that has thrown at anyone as far as I know. It'll go through bones, copper tubing, sheet metal, no problem. And it's cracked. It's like cracked halfway through the blade in 2 places, and it still does all that shit. Well, anyway, let's go look at the nice one and see how that turned out. Just putting some linseed oil on this sexy ass handle. You can see the grains. Whoosh. Getting as chromy as I can. It's so sharp I keep cutting myself. Bling bling. Get an intricate wood knots in the different layers of the flooring. So here it is, and I'm just right now finishing it up with 1000 grit sandpaper, whatever this is, yeah. Make it shiny as I can, and then I'm gonna etch some stuff in here because the guy likes cards, so like probably an ace of spades on either side, and it's razor sharp, and we'll call that good, and I'll send it out to him. Tune in next time to Cat's Cradle Forge. We're almost ready for the heat treat of this and other things. Have a wonderful day.